When you have multiple objects in the scene, you want to be able to control how the selection tool works. You can choose to, for example, only select objects that are completely enclosed within the selection area. Let's take a look at different options for selection. Here on the main toolbar, we have two buttons. We have the region type for selections, and then we have window and crossing mode. So the region type is defaulted to rectangle, and that means when we select using the select tool, we can drag a rectangle to select things. Going back up here to the region pull down, we can click on that fly out and choose a different tool. For example, a circle. We could select based upon a circular selection. And every time you press the Q key on the keyboard, you're invoking the selection tool. But if the selection tool is already active, then you're going to change the selection mode or the selection area type. If I press Q, you'll see it switch to a different tool there. And now we're in this so-called fence selection region. And we could click and drag and release the mouse and then click a bunch of other times, go back to the original there and make a fence. We've selected all those. Once again, pressing the Q key will cycle through all the different types of selection regions. Now we're in the so-called lasso selection region. We can drag a lasso around to select things. Pressing Q again, and now I'm in this paint selection region, and I can actually just drag my mouse across to select things. Pretty cool. All right, let's go back to the default of rectangle, pressing Q again, and now this is the easiest description of how window and crossing work, is with the rectangular selection region. By default, if your rectangle touches the wire of an object, then that object will be selected. So if I drag a really skinny, narrow rectangle here around all of these stair steps, they'll all get selected because my selection region touched their wires. Click to deselect those. And go up here to window and crossing mode, and then click it. And now we're in a different mode, which is window mode, meaning that an object has to be completely within the selection region in order to be selected. If I drag across here with this little narrow selection region, nothing happens. The boxes have to be completely within my selection window. So I can drag a bigger box out here so that all of those purple stair steps are going to be within the region, but the pink sides are not completely within the region. And when I release the mouse, you'll see I've only selected the stair steps. Very useful because sometimes you'll need to select a whole bunch of things and not a bunch of other things. And although you could go in and hide and isolate and all that sort of stuff, sometimes it's just way faster to use this. All right, so those are your selection tools and the window crossing option.